from 10 News, this is the Now San Diego.
Former NFL player Kellen Winslow Jr. has been ordered to stand trial on several rape and kidnapping charges. Good afternoon, I'm Kimberly Hunt. And now another woman has come forward to say he attacked her as well. 10 News reporter Steve Fiorina is live. And Steve, the new rape charge dates back more than a decade.
The preliminary hearing involved women who said they were sexually assaulted by Winslow over the last several months. The newest charge, though, a woman who says she was raped 15 years ago at the age of 17. Now, we have heard testimony in court so far from several women already, telling of being taken to semi-remote locations where they were raped and threatened with death if they told. Jane Doe, number 2, said she had seen Winslow several times before, and he seemed nice. And then he didn't.
He was like a friend. It's like my long lost, friend that cared if I had something to eat, cared that I was on the street, somebody that I thought I would trust. And what does that have to do with rape, sir? What does that have to do with rape?
Obviously unhappy with the defense attorney questioning, Winslow was ordered to stand trial, and he will face a preliminary hearing on new charges as well in August. Bail was set at $2 million. If he is released, he has to wear a GPS monitoring system. He would be under house arrest and ordered to have no contact whatsoever with any of the victims. At 5 o'clock, a detective talks about some of the identification problems that have ensued because of a change in appearance. Live and Vista, Steve Fiorina, 10 News.
I'm Ariel Wessler in the 10 News Live Center. A man accused of attacking his wife in Whittier with a chainsaw in front of their 3 children has been arrested in Chula Vista. This is a picture here of Alejandro Alvarez. He was taken into custody 2 hours ago. Now, according to Whittier police, Alvarez was driving a stolen car at the time of his arrest. His wife was taken to a trauma center with severe injuries. We understand when police arrived at the home, his kids were covered in blood. Now, we do have a crew on the way to Chula Vista right now, and we'll bring you any more details as soon as we get them. But that's the latest from the 10 News Live Center. I'm Ariel Wessler.
Yeah, troubling scene up there. Thank you, Ariel. And right now there's a flash flood warning in effect in northeastern parts of our county. Angelica Campos is joining us now with a look at the impacted areas. Angelica.
Yeah, the eastern part of the county has been just nonstop since yesterday. And right now we have a flash flood warning in effect until 4:30. You can see the area highlighted, including Julian. As we zoom a little bit closer, it doesn't include Borrego or Borrego Springs, but it's pretty much right there, right next to those cities. As we look at the satellite and radar right now, most of the thunderstorms we saw over the last couple of hours are now moving farther out east. We also had a severe thunderstorm warning this afternoon, but everything has expired. As we switch this over to our pinpoint Doppler live, you can see that most of the activity is basically south of Borrego, right over the 78 east of Julian, and the pattern that's going to take is off to the east. So this will continue improving. And there's even some good news in the forecast.
All right, so check out our lineup. Big update today on the reunions, just like these, between kids and parents separated at the border. We're looking into the changes coming to speed up the process of the hundreds of older kids who are still split up. And this next story, it is frankly just creepy. One major store has a new way to track its workers that could actually let them listen in on conversations happening at the checkout line. Also, have you heard of the keto diet? Kind of the newest fad diet that's out there, at least one of them. And a lot of people, they're giving it a shot this summer. So we're gonna be talking to a dietitian about the science that's behind it. And the laundry detergent that you're using, it may only slightly be better than water. Yeah, seriously. So that pricey detergent, it may not be worth it. So you're definitely gonna want to hear that one coming up today.
Sure do. Thank you, Chris. The government says dozens of children separated from their parents at the border can't be reunited. More on that in a minute. But first, 10 News reporter Travis Rice is live with how protesters upset with the separations made themselves heard today with silence. Travis.
Yeah, you couldn't hear them, but you certainly could see them. Exposed Customs and Border Patrol, Border Protection San Diego was here in front of the CBP offices in Chula Vista to make their presence known. Now, a small group of protesters were here for just a few hours, again protesting in front of the CBP offices to show their disapproval for the child separation policy, bearing signs, caution tape, and even baby dolls wrapped in chicken wire to signify the caged children. There were some pretty stark visuals here. They did not talk the entire 2.5-hour ordeal, but their organizer did briefly break the silence to explain why they are doing this.
The people need to know that right here in this suburban business park, the Border Patrol is planning and administering.
Coming up at 5 o'clock, a look into some of those reunions that are happening here in San Diego, and also the figures behind them and just how feasible it is. Live in Chula Vista, Travis Rice, 10 News.
Today, the government's saying all kids under 5 who can be reunited with their families are back with them. Now, this after being separated at the border, but there are dozens who can't be reunited. The Now's Corey Rangel looking at why and the changes to speed up the process for the hundreds of older kids still split up.
Today, the Trump administration says it has completed the reunification process for the youngest children separated from their families at the border. Of the 103 children under the age of 5, 57 children have been reunited with their parents, but the administration says 46 are not eligible. Of those, 24 children are still in the care of the government because their parents have been deported or are in law enforcement custody. Another 22 children have not been reunited because of safety concerns with their parents having criminal records or the government not being able to find the child's parent. This week, the administration defended its policies.
We've saved kids' lives by keeping them from being with some really evil people, some of them, or keeping them with people who are not their parents.
The administration now faces a second deadline in 2 weeks, reuniting more than 2,000 children over the age of 5 with their families. To speed up the process, the government will no longer require social worker visits or fingerprints for all adults in a home where a child will live, according to the New York Times. Instead, a child will be released to a parent once a family tie has been established, as long as the parent does not have a criminal record. For The Now, I'm Corey Rangel.
All right, Corey, thank you. Let's get to the news feed here. Important stories in a short amount of time. Well, the sheriff in charge of the Parkland investigation today defending the initial response to the shooting. He says the county's radio system made it difficult on law enforcement. The system became overwhelmed and actually blocked new transmissions. Today, the FBI agent who sent anti-Trump text messages, he faced lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Peter Strzok sending those messages to his coworker girlfriend, but saying today his personal beliefs never affected his work on the Russia or Clinton investigations. Well, this is the mugshot of former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort. You see it right here. He was booked into a jail in Northern Virginia. He's being prosecuted by special counsel investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election. His trial starts later this month. All right, let's get back to our lineup here. Big development today. The Justice Department reopening the case of this man's death. His killing had helped inspire the civil rights movement, and it's been more than 60 years. So why now? We're going to get into that when The Now continues.